What's going on, everybody? Welcome into TTP Sports. Last time we talked, Flyers got smacked by a New York team. We're back. Flyers got smacked by a New York team. Go figure. Go figure. After a long West Coast road trip, no recaps obviously, after a snowstorm, where there's a bunch of snow on the ground, Flyers, after a pretty strong road trip, they get 5 of 6 points in Vegas, Utah, and they absolutely destroyed Colorado, where nobody was fucking expecting that, especially after the way they collapsed in Utah. Did not expect that against Colorado. But they got 5 of 6 points. They return home tonight against the Islanders, and it was a snooze fest. It was a snooze fest. My God, tonight was boring. Tonight was boring. And is this like the old cliche of you go on a long road trip and the first game back is usually a dud? Yeah, probably. Probably. But that's Flyers hockey. This team is just as inconsistent as anybody, and it's been like that for so long. Some notable things from the past few games. Matvei Michkov's definitely playing a lot better. Probably had his best game of the season against the Colorado Avalanche, 2 goals and an assist. So that was very nice to see. Owen Tippett had the hat trick against Colorado. That was nice to see as well. Literally, there's nothing else to talk about for tonight's game. I'll probably be barely recapping tonight's game. They had a few power plays in the first period where the second unit looked nice, and they couldn't do anything, and obviously the Islanders scored shorthanded on one of those. And that was basically it. They had nothing going the entire night. This game was the definition of a dud. They couldn't get one past Sorokin. I don't even think the Islanders played that good either. The Flyers were just that worse, in my personal opinion. They just got, it's not even the factor of getting goalied. Like, Sorokin really wasn't tested the entire night, in my personal opinion. Every save he made looked easy. So, it's just, there was nothing tonight. Absolutely nothing. And then you just go back on the road for 2 more games on Wednesday and Thursday, I believe, in Columbus and Boston. So, we'll see what that happens there. And then you'll have 3. And so basically, right now, after tonight's game, you got 5 more games until the Olympic break. 2 road games, 3 home games. You have a home game on Saturday against the Kings. Then you have 2 games next week at home to close out before the break. I believe against Washington and Ottawa. So we'll see where it goes. Obviously, if the Flyers won tonight's game, they probably could have been in 3rd place in the Metro Division. Obviously, nothing gained there with a loss. This team's just weird, man. After a long stretch of losing, all of us expected them to get shit smacked on that West Coast road trip in Vegas. And honestly, that game against Vegas, that was more of a Sam Ersson had a rare gem. He was very good against Vegas. And then, Travis Konechny, opportunistic on 2 breakaways. So that's what stole you that game against Vegas. Against Utah, you go up 3-0. You blow that lead, obviously. And then you take the lead again. And then Garnet Hathaway has the game on his stick and gets stripped the puck. Eventually, Clayton Keller ties it. And then Travis Konechny gets caught flat-footed on the wall in overtime. Clayton Keller scores to win the game. That was freaking just, I don't even know how to describe it. And then on Friday in Colorado, like I said earlier, where we all expected them to really get shit stopped by Colorado, they in fact do the shit stopping to Colorado. Thanks to Owen Tippett and Matvei Michkov. So, yeah, that's the recap of the past week and a half with this team. It's weird. It's very weird. This game is nothing. It's nothing. Really nothing to talk about. And I hate not being able to do a recap for the week because of the West Coast games and coming back for the first recap of the week, and this is the game that we have to recap, and it's just like it wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. The shorthanded goal by the Islanders in the first period, they get 2 goals in the second, they get the 1 in the third. It's just special teams definitely were different in this game. You go 0 for 3 on the power play. Islanders go 1 for 3, including a shorthanded goal. That was the difference, realistically. And still really no idea when Dan Vladar is going to return into a game playing-wise. He is skating, he is practicing, so I guess that is a good sign, but still really unsure when he is going to play. I'm not sure if it's going to be on this road trip in Columbus and Boston, because it is a back-to-back, and if Dan Vladar can't go, most likely you're going to have to start Alexei Kolosov in one of those games. And oof, if he starts the way that he started against the Rangers, allowing 3 goals on 3 shots, ay, might not be a good watch. Might not be a good watch. And I really don't know what they're going to do with Vladar, if he's going to be good enough to go in these last 5 games, or he's just going to rest until the Olympic break. But I'm sure they're going to want to get him into a game before the Olympic break, so, he's not cold going into, Team Czechia and all that stuff. But, I don't know. Maybe he's hurt enough to where he can't go to the Olympics, and maybe this will be a blessing in disguise, and he gets all of his rest in the world. Maybe that could be a good sign for him. I don't know. I guess the one positive that I'll just take from the whole amalgamation of the past few is Michkov does look better. He does look like he has his legs again. He looks confident. Obviously, he had the 3-point night against Colorado, so that really helped. Got a power play assist, got the 2 goals on a really nice deflection, and one of those was an empty netter. So hopefully he could just build confidence off of that. He had some nice plays. The second power play unit where Michkov was there, they had some nice looks. They had some nice movement. Just obviously, they can't score. So Michkov does look like he has his legs. The real thing is, what's he going to look like after the Olympic break? Where he says he's going to stay in Voorhees, he's not going to go on vacation or anything. He's going to stay, he's going to train, he's going to try to ramp it up to get caught up even further. So, what version of Matvei Michkov are we going to see coming out of the break? That's probably the most important thing right there. And it's just, really, this team is just at this point, they're just on a stretch of inconsistency. That's really what they are. They go in that very long losing stretch where they're getting blown out basically every game. You get the 5 of 6 points on the West Coast road trip, and then you come right back home and drop a dud. So, this team just is what they are right now. They're not that good of a team. They're not that good of a team. They're going to win some, they're going to lose some. I think that's what they are. Maybe not having Dan Vladar, maybe, realizes all those factors, and Dan Vladar was really shielding them from a lot. Maybe that is the case. But at this point, they're not bad enough to lose so much to where they drop to the basement of the standings, even though, granted, there is so much parity in this league to where you can do that technically. But they're not good enough to go on a long stretch of winning. They just aren't. Granted, they went up against, 2 high-caliber playoff teams in Vegas and Colorado and beat those 2 guys and beat those 2 teams in regulation. And then once they go up against, a bubble team like Utah, a bubble team like the Islanders, they don't play their best. So they're the definition of a mediocre team. That's what they are. That's what they are. And you can really say that's what they've been for the past decade and a half. So I really don't know what to take of this going forward. Granted, Columbus they're going up against on Wednesday. Columbus is not a good team. Columbus, statistically, they are worse than the Flyers, so we'll see what happens there. Boston, they're very up and down. I know they've been hot lately, so that'll be interesting to see what happens on that case. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So, let's see. I want to see the upcoming schedule with this team, obviously, just to see where the games are looking. So, yep, you got Wednesday, 7:30 in Columbus, 7 o'clock on Thursday in Boston, Saturday against the Kings at 12:30, Tuesday against Washington, next Thursday against Ottawa, and then you have that 3.5-week Olympic break until you come back and play the Caps and the Rangers. And then you go on a very long stretch until the end of the season right there. Going to be a lot of games in the month of March. A lot of games. So prepare yourselves there. Prepare yourselves. This game was just ugly. This game was just ugly. I don't know. I just don't know. Let's see. Is there anything else here? I just don't really see much. Like I said, this game was just a dud. I apologize for the lack of in-depth analysis and everything. The game just sucked. This game was nothing. It was just nothing. Seriously. Sam Ersson was Sam Ersson. Granted, I don't blame him for the loss tonight. They just couldn't do anything out there on the ice. and it was like the team that we saw on the road trip was completely different than the team that we saw tonight. So I really just don't. And I think there's one thing to also point out. Trevor Zegras does look like he's coming a little bit back down to earth. He's got 46 points in 51 games, so he's getting further and further from that point per game plateau. So, and I guess you're starting to see the effects of that, where he's not really scoring much every game. So that definitely is disappointing right there. Even though his numbers are nothing to scoff at, 19 goals, 20 and 7 assists, just under point per game, that's something to scoff at. He's having a good season. But I just think that where he was playing at a superstar caliber level, I think that's starting to come back down to earth with Trevor Zegras. I think, Emil Andre definitely has been struggling a lot the past few games. I wonder if he comes out of the lineup. They've been very, in and out with, Rabenkin and Hathaway, mixing, matching right there, so it's just weird. They're still dealing with a bunch of injuries, obviously. The Abels injury, obviously, that happened against the Rangers. It's just crazy. Crazy. This game just stunk. This game just stunk. There's not more else to even, describe it. If you want to look at the standings just to see where they're at, they got 57 points on the season. They're 24, 18, and 9 after tonight's game. They are looking like this. They're 6 points now out of the wild card spot. So the wild card, there's some teams starting to get some separation right there with the wild card. And the Flyers, they are now 4 points out of third in the Metropolitan Division. So the Flyers look like they're more closer to the bottom of the Eastern Conference than they are competing right now. Realistically, the wild card spot is getting further and further out of reach. Granted, you have 2 games in hand on Boston, but Boston definitely has been playing a lot better. Montreal's in the first wild card spot. Islanders are in third place. Penguins, they're in second place. They've been playing a lot better since they got Stuart Skinner. He's been very good for them. Go figure. And then Carolina Hurricanes. So the Carolina Hurricanes. Teams that are below you, it's like a 3-way tie between you and the Capitals and the Maple Leafs with 57 points. The Devils are a point behind you. The Columbus Blue Jackets, they're 2 points behind you. And Senators are 2 points behind you. Really, the lone difference is the Rangers. They have 50 points. They're the worst team in the entire conference. And granted, you got shit smacked by them last week. So, Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. And in terms of the Kings, you play them on Saturday. They're basically on the outside looking in the Western Conference wild card. But I'm sure they'll be a tough task for the Flyers. They play a lot better on the road. They're a really good team on the road, a very bad team at home. What are you going to do? What else? The game just stunk. I'm going to keep saying that. The game just stunk. I'm not even going to try to drag this out even further. We have... let's see what we got. We got one voicemail here. It's from Sean. So we might as well get to that because I'm sure Sean was very also enthusiastic about, this game. This past few weeks for Philadelphia, man, not going the best. Eagles, they can't find an OC. They just can't. The Sixers, they're very up and down. The Phillies are the Phillies. And the Flyers are the Flyers. It's going bad right now. Bad times in Philadelphia sports, I'll tell you. But let's get to Sean. Let's see what he's got to say.
Boy, another great day of Philadelphia sports. The Eagles have about 15 more candidates withdraw from OC. The 76ers do 76ers type things during the day. And I don't know what this was in the nightcap. I mean, this was just, terrible hockey. I mean, the game was over when Pajot scored his first goal, another Sam Earson special. But to me, this is on Rick Tocchet. I mean, your job as a coach is to motivate your team. This was a big game, and that effort tonight just wasn't there. It was said during the telecast, the only one that looked like they gave a shit tonight was Owen Tippett. I mean, that falls on Rick Tocchet. Your message of motivation did not get through tonight, and this team cannot play on home ice. For whatever reason, I said it on the stream I was on, they just look different on the road. I mean, they look a little more creative, like they have a little more jump. I don't know what it is, but they have been absolute dog water at home as of late. Another ass kicking from the Islanders, another Sorokin special, and another drop in the standings.
I actually do want to look at the home and road record splits just to see what it looks like. Really, their records are actually pretty similar. 12-9-5 at home, 12-9-4 on the road. I wonder if their road numbers, like in the last few, are just like a lot better. I wonder if that's the case. Let me see. When was the last time the Flyers won at home? Jeez. Oh my god. So going back, their last win at home was Anaheim. And since then, oh my god. So ever since Anaheim, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games at home since Anaheim. They've scored a combined 7 goals. In the last 5 games at home, they scored 7 goals, and they've given up 2, 9, 12, 18, 22. They're getting outscored 22-5 at home in the last 5 home games. Holy shit. Holy shit. Yeah, they're struggling at home lately. I'm speechless after 22-5. Crazy. Actually, I gotta post that to Twitter. Ever since the Anaheim, Flyers beat, Flyers' last home win was against Anaheim at the start of January. Since then, they've played 5 games at home, being outscored 22-5 in that stretch. My God. Jesus. Outscored 22-5. My God. I just want to see the goal. So let's just see. So Toronto, I think that was Vladar. Toronto was Vladar. Like Anaheim and Toronto were Vladar. And then Vladar, I think Vladar played the second game against Tampa Bay. So there was 3 Vladar games this month at home. And then 7-2 was Eriksson against Tampa. 6-3 was Kolosov, and Eriksson tonight was Eriksson. My God. Oof. Oof, 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 oof. Bad. Bad, shitty. My God. The Faustian man? I don't know how to pronounce that name. I am sorry. That's a creative name now. If the Rangers are smart, they tank. Well, the Rangers already released a letter to their fan base about how they're going to retool again. Not rebuild, they're going to retool again. So they're probably, they're going to be trading. They already said that they're not extended Panarin, and they're most likely going to trade him. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Alrighty, folks. That'll do it for tonight. I got to go edit some other goalie stuff. So appreciate talking with y'all. We'll probably talk Flyers more this week with, the Columbus game and the Boston game this week, and the maybe the Kings game. It just depends on how everything goes. Saturday, that's the Royal Rumble, so I'll probably be more focused that game. But we'll definitely have some recaps after Columbus and Boston. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It does me a great deal of service. Use the code TTPSPORTS. $20 off your first purchase at SEATGEEK. It's a great deal. Don't pass it up. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. What a dud. What a dud. Appreciate